So he put the gay flag on the cross like
Yeah.
Jesus. What's that say?
I don't. It was.
That seems very.
Yeah.
Putting it on a cross was deliberate.
Yeah.
But I did see him like trying to light it with.
Yeah.
It was sad.
It was a plastic flag. It did. There were some times when it was
Cool, for a
catch, but it
second.
didn't. Like there were basically 2 holes.
Yeah.
That burned, and then that
He
was
needed
it.
to get some tips from one of the theater queers or drag queens or something. Would have been like, "Did you try that at home first?"
Right.
It's always the worst when a prop doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
A
And
wardrobe. Yeah.
they were roasting him for it. And there was one person there, an activist who I don't think would be upset if I shared the name Rowan. And they do like fire stuff all the time. So Rowan was just like, you're not even burning it right. It's like roasting this man.
Right.
And it was a thing of beauty. That part. Yeah. But
good on them. They want to burn a flag. That's part of our right as
it's part of our First Amendment.
Exactly. And I know I saw Rowan in particular. I saw them ripping up tearing up like to heaven. What is that? The heaven.
An appeal to heaven.
Appeal to heaven flag. So it felt, I don't know, it felt like a response to that as well.
When I see that an appeal to heaven flag, I get irrationally angry. Like it just triggers something in me because I think it's the dumbest shit.
It's not even like pretty.
No, it's so boring. Like some idiot was just like, just put a tree on it. It's like, it's not creative at all.
It doesn't say heaven to me.
No, it's so it originated in the Revolutionary War.
Oh, okay.
And an appeal to heaven.
Of course it did. Because they're all stuck in this. Sorry.
Yeah. It's just like they're patriot.
They're stuck in this make-believe past that's just
that they're like these
the same people who
tough patriots.
Better
flag,
probably.
But it essentially meant that like an appeal to heaven was that God would deliver them from tyranny. So seeing all of this, I'm left to interpret that their definition of tyranny is a pride flag.
It's not Trump. And it's not Trump.
No.
Huh.
Yeah. But there's another upsetting thing about that fucking flag. Starting January 1st, 2026, is going to be a specialty license plate in Idaho.
Wow.
In a field head. And we already have, starting January 1st of this year, we have the Don't Tread on Me specialty license plate.
Oh, wow.
I've yet to see one of those, surprisingly, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like, this is the trend that Idaho is just like really digging in to their, what is it, the Al-Qaeda bullshit.
It's just so wild to me too, because like in some ways I think to talk about last night was like a win, right? In a lot of ways, right?
Yeah.
The fact that, and the thing of it is like the city of Boise wouldn't have needed to make the rainbow flag a city flag if the state didn't decide they wanted to have an opinion on what a city could waive or not waive.
Exactly.
Like
B96.
Yeah, it's just, all of it is just a response to what's happening. So I don't know. It's really wild to me how things have gotten, and it's all over the place. The last episode we talked about the indecent exposure, and that's, to me, like that's really bad, really horrible, and not okay in the slightest. And then, but then we have like wins like this with the part of me was thinking like, why would 2C folks care, or why? But I think I am curious to hear, and maybe this is something that people can do in our comments on YouTube or even on our podcast, is if you don't live in the Boise area, what are your thoughts on what's happening here? And how do you think, if it is or isn't impacting where you live? Like, I'm really curious about other cities in Idaho in particular. But I know that we've been making a lot of national news lately.
Yeah.
One for this, we've made it for another great thing, which I think I have I don't know. There's the Hetero Awesomeness Festival that's coming up during Pride Weekend. And I know there's a lot of, me personally, I'm just going to let them do it.
Yeah.
I don't need to bother. I know there's a lot of different actions that are happening. So folks are wanting to take some sort of action. I know they're chalking, and they're doing some chalking, I think, both days of the festival. For me personally, I just feel like they're trolls.
Yeah.
The whole festival is a troll. For me personally, to go over there and spend my time and energy on it feels like that's exactly what they want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so for me, I just feel like I'd rather go to Queerly Featured, because that's the same weekend.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of their stuff, I have to look closely, and we're a collaborator.
Yeah, the Queerly Arts Festival.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so stoked for that.
I am too. And we'll put a link below so that you can check that out. But it's a queer festival. It's the first time. And there's, I think, 3 to 4 days,
I think 3.
3 days of like shows and arts and vending. And it's going to be really cool. I think in a lot of ways, it's going to be like a queer fest,
Oh
like
yeah,
queer pride.
it's gonna be a lot of fun, and the performers involved are really talented. The back is great. I
Mhm.
love the back.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And
I'd be like, spend the day.
yeah,
Like for me, I don't know. That's what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to spend more energy with a queerly featured group, but queerly arts, maybe. I don't want to, I'm messing up the words. I'm sorry, Muff, Vander, everyone, but
you
we'll fix it. We'll fix it. Not in my words, but at least
in the link.
in the print. I'll get better at it. I promise. But yeah, I think that's the way I feel like, but I know you might have a different take and I would never get in the way of somebody.
Yeah,
Like, I don't ever want to be like, I'm shitting on people who are
Mhm.
choosing to respond in that way. For me personally, I just feel like it's contrary to, we want to have a pride festival and we don't want people to
Yeah.
fuck with us. So
Mhm.
part of me is just, so why fuck with them? But I also
Yeah.
understand why, because that's what it's all about. Like they're wanting people to come out and have that sort of experience.
It's so nuanced.
I agree.
I think that yes, ultimately, I agree with you. We want to just have our own thing. We don't want to be bothered. We don't want protesters there. We hate that shit. So like, why can't they do that? I agree with that. But especially after events like last night, I don't feel like they're getting together to celebrate being straight.
No, they're not.
They're getting together.
They want to go with us.
It's like in response to us. And after last night, these people are violent. They're so full of hate. And I hate my response to it because I got fired up. And I don't want to be someone that just gets reactive, but it's so hard not to.
Well, there's so much. I just watched it online, right?
Mhm.
And there's just so much like chaotic energy. Like
Yeah.
if you were just hearing the voices, you would have thought there was maybe some sort of like physical fight, or
Oh, yeah.
if you were just listening to the audio and because there was just such chaos, the language,
Yep.
the vitriol, just the energy in it. And I could understand it's gonna put people into that fight or flight kind of mode. I think it'd be really easy for us to
Oh, yeah.
try to match it.
It's hard not to. And in the moment, you forget, like, nothing I say is going to change their mind. Because logically, like with social media, I know that. But when you're in the moment and you're being attacked verbally by these people, you forget and you just go into, like you said, like fight or flight. And I fight. And I think that when it comes to the hetero awesome thing, regardless of what people are going to do, I think that they just need to try and not be harmful in what they do. Because one thing that I've seen, and admittedly, my first reaction was to laugh,
Well,
was Boise week, or in Boise, they have this annual contest where they do Boise Best. And the town votes on like the best cafe, the best bar, best gay bar, all of these things. And for the best gay bar, the town gets to vote on who gets to be listed and compete for it. And the town put the Old State Saloon as the best gay bar. And the guy that he's the one who's putting on the hetero awesome fest, and he's just this horrible fucking troll. He was there last night. And at first I was like, I laughed because I was like, that's gonna make him fucking furious. Then everyone's like, oh,
yeah.
but then I read some people's comments on it, and there's another gay bar that didn't even get listed because of it. And I'm thinking now, if they win, if the town comes together and decides that this would be a really funny joke, that Old State Saloon is the best gay bar, I'm going to be fucking furious, because that's just another way these fucking conservatives are coming in. They're winning and they're just making a mockery of our lives. And not just that, but there are people who are new to the Valley. If they see that and they go, they're going to be in danger, because that is not a safe place for queer people to go.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's true. The more that these people take up space in our lives and that's what they want to, I guess that's what they're choosing to do or whatever. And so there's already enough that we're dealing with on the day to day for me. Like, I just don't have the capacity to go to that level. I understand that there's like probably some good energy to let go in those environments. And like I said, everyone's at different places and everybody responds to things differently. So I would never want to disparage anyone who chooses to do or express themselves in whatever way it feels good to them. So I don't want to say that, but part of me just feels like they're getting a lot of our time and a lot of our energy, and they're taking up our spaces now. And so I don't know. It's an interesting time.
Yeah.
I'm, I,
Yeah.
I almost would be curious to hear from like other people's perspective who's been around with the LGBTQ fight over the years. I'd be
Yeah.
curious how our elders
Yeah.
are experiencing
We should have
this
someone on. Yeah.
in comparison to like previous things. Yeah.
It's interesting because I'm really proud of people as like tone deaf and not really thought out as it was. I'm proud that people are starting to do something
Yeah.
because it has felt like for so long we're just left to do it right for ourselves. So if we can use this energy that people are starting to get, this momentum of we want to make things difficult for them or we want to whatever, and we could put that into something positive or something that actually will help or matter more,
Mhm.
I think that it's a step towards the right direction.
Right.
And I really want to cultivate and encourage that spirit, but
Agreed.
just hope to lean it more towards something that isn't going to be harmful.
Yeah. But I feel like ultimately we've always historically worked toward progress, right? I
Yeah.
do feel like progress always wins in the long run.
You do.
Now, the ways that we get there is funky, and I think that's more debatable.